Hello YouTubers. I haven't made a video in a while. I've been traveling and I have to put those videos up. However, I'm not sure when because Allah willing, I'm going to be traveling again in February, I believe. Now, I love Washington D.C. Oh, I'm so addicted to Washington D.C. I just love Washington D.C. So I'd like to return again, and I don't know when. Maybe in February I'll stop off after Canada. And I have so many videos to put up on YouTube and Instagram in regards to my travels. I've been a little bit, just a little exhausted, because traveling is exhausting. It's lots of fun, but it is exhausting. Excuse me. And I have a slight cold, which I've been battling. But it's okay. It's okay. Well, no, it's not okay when you have a cold, but, you just have to keep fighting the good fight. So I came on to speak about a few things. One of them is, have you people noticed the various food shortages in the stores? I warned about that a few years ago. There's some video that I have up on YouTube where I spoke about that, about people stocking up on food because one day they may arise and there's nothing on the shelves at all. So, again, people, you stock up on your food and water, get a generator or generators, get great locks for your doors, be able to protect you and your family if you reside in these big cities, because things are going to get really bad. They haven't even begun to get bad. And what is it now? It's January 18th, 2022, and New York, which is where I reside, is planning to evict thousands of people from their homes in the dead of winter. I mean, really now? They're not even waiting for the late spring or summer. Okay? And as somebody that was homeless with my family for 10 years, I'll tell you, living in the street is not fun. It ain't fun. Okay? And everybody that resides in the street are not crazy. Well, initially, they're not crazy. However, if somebody's living in the street through all the elements, of the weather and everything else, eventually they will lose their mind. Excuse me. So, for people that, had some money and chose not to pay rent, that was a mistake. You should keep your roof. You don't play with your roof. This is not the times of the 1870s or wherever where you can, or 1800s or things like that, where you can build a teepee in the woods, okay, and go out and kill buffalo and take their hide to keep warm and things of that nature. We live in cities where it's brick and steel, and you have to go to a supermarket, so don't mess around with your roof. You can find a way to scrounge for some food, a couple of apples, which can provide you fiber to fill you up. You know, you can go to the river, get some water and get one of those tablets. I forgot what they're called. I have a bunch of them myself. And put in the water to purify it, or boil the water to purify it if you have those facilities. But don't mess around with your roof. You know, if you have some money, you should have. I mean, if your rent was like $500 or $1,000, send them $100 a month, but send something. If you owe credit card bills, send something. $5 a month, $10, but send something. You know, because things are bad out here. In fact, that's why Eric Adams is in office, because things are just so bad. They think a black man is gonna clean it up. Man, I mean, I looked at that guy. He's been in there, 3 weeks? He already looks like a grandpa. Okay, look at de Blasio. He did 2 terms. I mean, shit. And he was talking shit about running for governor. Please, let it go. Nobody in their right mind should be thinking about running for any office. Okay? Because even the people in office, they don't know what to do. Because things are just so bad. Okay? They don't know what to do about this COVID, Omicron, Delta, the flu, on and on and on. If they knew what to do, all these people wouldn't be dying. I mean, really. So they don't know what to do. And it's gotten to the point where most people realize that, because people are not stupid. It's just that people have, you know, most people are beginning to realize they're on their own. You know, these big cities, New York, California, Atlanta, they've become nothing but cesspools. That's all they are. A lot of people are resorting to, what is that? The sex trade industry to get by financially. You know, or drugs or robbery, whatever it is. You know, the kids in New York are walking out of the schools because they realize their lives are in danger. You know, how are you going to sit and learn if somebody's coughing a hacket and shit like that next to you? You don't know what they have. I mean, really. You know, and you have somebody like Eric Adams that's telling people go back to work and all that shit. Really? So you're willing to put people's lives in danger because you want to open up the cities. People are not stupid. Personally, if I was in the workforce, I'm not going back to no job in no building. Who's going to protect me? And who's going to protect my family? You know, Eric Adams is not going to come and protect my family and myself, or any of those other politicians that's talking all that shit. And then there was a bitch fire about a week ago in the Bronx where 19 people died, 9 of them children. It's predominantly Africans that lived in that building. You see a photo of that building, it looks like a death trap. I mean, it really does. There was no fire escape, no kind of escape. People just died. Because the fire department claims it was a space heater, allegedly. Who knows if that's really the truth? You know, and there was something wrong with the space heater, allegedly. And because when the fire began in one apartment, people ran out and the door was left open, allegedly. I say allegedly because you don't know what's true or false. So the fire metastasize, aka spread throughout the building. And all those people lost their lives. It's terrible. It's terrible. Um, it's terrible. And every politician, the governor, the mayors, this one, that one, they're all pledging support and yada yada yada. Everybody always do so, a little photo op. you know, the romance doesn't last too long. So it's just a miserable situation. A miserable situation. However, the situation with space heaters, if there was heat coming up, all those people would have not had to have a space heater. So obviously, people in that building were using space heaters because they're cold. And when it's cold, it's cold. And sometimes a lot of these buildings, they blast the heat when they don't need to. It's really not cold or not that cold. And then when it when the temperature dips and it really becomes very cold, no heat. All of a sudden, no heat. I don't know how that works, but it does for them. But may Allah, shine His grace and keep us all safe. Because another human being cannot keep you safe. Okay? Only you can do that for yourself. And again, people, get storm drapes. That helps to keep out the cold. The back of the drapes are heavy plastic. So it helps to keep out the cold. Line your windows, with plastic. Tape around it. It may look a little tacky, but you have the storm drapes. Nobody will see the tackiness of the tape. The goal is to keep your place insulated from the cold. Get some rugs, for some carpeting. All that keeps the place warm. So tape around your windows with some plastic, get some storm drapes, and they're not that expensive. And get some carpeting for your living room, which is usually the largest room in the house. Okay, in the bedrooms, you can get some runners and use it around your window area where you have your windows. All that will absorb the cold from the ground up. And you can get some tacks and tack on some, what do you call that? Maybe a carpet on the wall. And so you can keep more heat. The place totally insulated. That's what I do. Because in case they don't send the heat up, I'm always warm. You have to take care of yourself. And maybe read some history books on how people kept warm back in the day. But don't turn on the stove if you do decide to because that's carbon monoxide. If you do decide to get a space heater, do your research. And they have nice ones now where they're a lot safer. Don't go to sleep with them on. Also, get some hot water bags. They're these old hot water bags from back in the day. They're thick. What you can do is boil the water, pour in there, and make sure it's very tight. And you put that at the head of your bed or where your feet is, and you'll keep your feet warm. You'll warm up your bed with it. And let me tell you something. That thing will remain hot all night. I have a couple myself. Okay. You can usually pick them up in these really small pharmacies that most people don't attend any longer. The big pharmacies, they don't have them. And get a little bucket, or what they used to call chimneys when I was very young, and keep that in your bedroom under your bed with a little top, so you can just get up, pee, wipe yourself up, and get right back in that warm bed. And if you have to do a number two, well, no, you gotta go to the bathroom. But I'm giving you tips to make, tips on what we used to do, my parents in the old days, when they didn't have heat. Because in my parents' time, what we have today, they didn't have when they were younger. Of course, as they aged, certain things was more accessible. Like the heating system. So, you can also use blankets, on your walls. Thick blankets and comforters. You can cover your walls to insulate the cold, because the walls, they usually may have steel inside of it. Depending on the building you're residing in, the walls get very cold. So again, the cold emanates throughout the apartment or the house. I don't think they use steel in house though. Maybe these mansions that a lot of wealthy people are residing. So people get those storm drapes. They're really, really great. And get those carpeting. If you can't afford the huge carpets, then get the runners. Put them around the window area. And you should leave your window, maybe one in the living room, just a little ajar to get some air to circulate. And have thermal underwear for yourself, your children, things of that nature. And drink some hot water with lemon or some lime before you go to bed at night. When you arise in the morning, keeps those organs breathing. And people, work out. Work out. Do some exercises. Motivate yourselves to get up and take care of your life. You can't keep sitting home, eating yourself into a stupor and putting on an enormous amount of weight. And then you can't fit in your clothes, and having all that weight on your body will make you melancholy, because you look around and you can't fit in anything but sweatpants or some shorts, and clothes is expensive. And aside from that, do you really want to have so much weight on your body where you're carrying around 2 other people on your small frame? Really, you have to ask yourself. So motivate yourself to get up, do some waist twists. You don't even have to have weights. Planet Fitness is still $10 a month. Do some waist twists, some sit-ups, some push-ups, some jumping jacks, and control your intake of carbohydrates like bread, pasta, All that stuff puts weight on you, all that fat. Lower your intake of chicken and red meat. No sweet drinks. Maybe once every 2 weeks you have a slice of chocolate. But get that weight off your body. If there's an emergency, you ask yourself, can you run up a flight of steps? Not walk, run. Okay? I think it's terrible that people allowed themselves to put on a lot of weight on their body, just because of COVID. It's time that people stop using COVID as the reason for their weight gain or undisciplined behavior, because that's what it is. It's being undisciplined, especially with your own life, your health. You put all that weight on, and weight brings a host of other illnesses. Diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, foot problems, you name it. And you can't cry and say later, well, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda, or I didn't know. No, you just didn't give a shit about yourself. That's all. It's that simple. No more excuses. People have to stop relying on excuses for being negligent with taking care of themselves. It doesn't cost anything to do some exercises. It really doesn't. Sorry, I just coughed and I knocked down the phone. And it doesn't cost anything to take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is paramount. Health is wealth. And if people don't realize that, then my question to them is, when are they going to realize it? When they have to go to some hospital and be stuck by needles and people standing around their bed telling them how bad their health is? It's up to each and every one of us to be responsible for our health. Speaking of that, I was also contemplating doing a series of exercise on my channel, just to change it up a bit in between my travels. I'm retired now, so traveling, I always loved to travel, but I had to put it on the shelf until I raised my family. Now I can travel. Sadly, there all this COVID and Omicron and the Delta and whatever else, Jesus. So it's hindered me a bit. So I'm hoping and praying that by February, at least March, I shall be able to resume my travels again. But in the meantime, my photos of Philadelphia, Washington, Canada, and other places, I have to post. My huge trip that I'd like to take is to Dubai. I wanted to go to Dubai for my birthday in November of last year. I wasn't able to, due to the BS from Social Security regarding my money. However, that was then, this is now, so we can get to it. So people, again, please take care of your life, for your sake. Not for my sake or anyone else. Take care of your life. Take care of your health and that of your families. Of course, you can't force other people to do what's right for them. You know, all one can do is make a suggestion and watch what you are eating, because some of the food out here today is not healthy. So it may cost more, but that doesn't mean that it's healthy. Give up those carbs, sweets, those sweet drinks. Of course, once in a while, one may indulge themselves a bit, but we're living in some tough times, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. My experience has always been it gets worse before it gets better. And save some money. If you have $5, save $3. This is Omicron, COVID, and Delta. Nobody needs to be spending money they don't have, but spend money on things that's necessary for your livelihood. Stock up on food and water. And rest, exercise. Do a lot of exercise. You're in the house, you can walk up the steps, you can walk around the block a few times, you can do some sit-ups, some push-ups. Start out doing 10 a day, 10 at night, 10 in the morning, and then increase it to 25 a day. 25 you can do 25 in the mornings, 25 before you go to bed, until you reach where you set a goal, maybe 30 in the mornings, 30 in the afternoon, or 50. That's a nice number. And just keep going. And before you know it, you're at a weight that you love. And you'll love the results. Have more fruits and vegetables and water. Have some hot water with some lime or lemon every morning. Cleans out that digestive tract, your heart, the plaque, things like that. But motivate yourself to being better for yourself. You don't have anybody that's going to motivate you. The only person you have is yourself to motivate yourself. So people, motivate yourself to be better for yourself. And on that note, have a good one. Take care. Be vigilant. Okay? In your safety, be very vigilant. There are a lot of bad people out there. Alrighty. Like and subscribe.